Welcome to the Media Speaks Live, hashtag TMS Live. We've been doing this show forever. We've been doing this show for like 3 years. If this show was a baby, it would be walking and it would be asking for cookies. It is
And it would be just a little late.
yeah, it's August 1st, 2015. We got plenty to talk about. Sam from The Correct Views is here. How you doing today, Sam?
Greetings, unsettled souls. Welcome to our Saturday edition. Kyle, I'm doing great, and I'm feeling married today.
Oh, and congratulations to Sam. D-Lake, do you have your sound effects open?
Sure. Let me see.
Mine disappeared. I'm opening stuff up.
Loading.
Loading. Wait.
Loading. You beat me to it. Congratulations, Sam.
For some reason, I can't hear mine, so there was an applause. I didn't hear it, but it was for you, Sam.
Dang, oh, I heard it. It was beautiful.
We also got D-Lake, who didn't get married this weekend, but we still like him.
Thank you, Kyle. That was a lovely introduction. D-Lake for Prez here. Camera not seeming to be working, but as you can see from my screen share, I'm on live now on the Media Speaks. Thank you.
You have such an amazing voice that it makes up for it, so that's fine. So
yes, face for radio.
As much as we do, again, want to congratulate Sam on getting married. That's super, super awesome. Some bad news this week, as I'm sure all three of us know, which we were kind of talking about this before we started up the show, that for some reason this guy has such a political following. Like, all libertarians, like constitutionalists, people who are kind of like government hands-off people, all love this guy. And yesterday we lost Roddy Piper, the wrestler.
Man.
Which is quite a shame. I got to meet him ever so briefly, and he was in character. It was after the wrestling match, but it was I want to say the early to mid '80s. I was really young, and back then, you could tell he was still very much in character and just kind of walked off without an autograph.
Well, and Roddy Piper, as I remember, which I'm a little bit younger than you guys, so I was kind of like, I was more in the days of like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. I remember right before he left, he looked at my dad and winked. And my dad told me like years later, but I was like a little kid and he didn't want to ruin it for me.
Well, and Roddy Piper was kind of a bad guy, right? Like, I wanted to say he was there's a name for it in the business.
Villains.
There's a name, an inside name, I can't think of it. Not villains, I forget what they call it. But for like, yeah, when you're like pretty much a bad guy.
He was good every once in a while. He would go to the good side. He just gave his name away to an MMA fighter. This girl had called him and asked him if she could use it in the ring under the condition that she promised that she'd never ever let him down. And he gave
Ronda Rousey. Yeah.
Ronda's gonna use it?
Yeah, she's gonna be Ronda Rowdy Rousey.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's like Roddy.
He gave it to her right before he died.
Roddy Piper. That's so cool. That's I didn't know that. So, but what I was gonna say, there's an unwritten kind of rule in wrestling that if you're a bad guy, that when a fan comes up to you like a little kid, you can't break character and be like, "Hi, how are you doing?" and sign an autograph and like be nice and take a picture. Like, you can't really do that, because what's worse? Like, you can all of a sudden break character and be nice and take the picture that the kid wants, but in doing that, you're going to ruin the show.
Yeah.
Because now the kid knows that you're not that character anymore.
Yep.
So I like that story that you told, how he kind of winked at your dad like, "I'm not really a dick. Tell him when he's 20." You know?
Yeah. It was awesome. It was really, really awesome.
Yeah, so that's really sad. He was a great actor. He did quite a few movies. They Live. We can't talk about Roddy Piper without talk about They Live.
They Live, one of the best movies, except for the ending, one of the best movies ever.
Yeah.
Great movie.
And also, ever. I'm here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum, and of course, put on the...
Yes. And don't forget, too, he had recently said that he condemned what Hulk Hogan had said and what created all the drama. But he said what bothered him greatly was that you never heard about when Hulk Hogan was on the Wheaties box, all the people that did their prayers and their vitamins and everything that he was promoting at the time. He's like, somehow you do one bad thing and it obliterates everything good that the man had ever done.
Yeah,
And
and
I thought that that was a good light to put on that. And then he tells the story. He's like, people will say that because I'm a white guy that I didn't face that. He goes, you try being a 5-year-old kid who has, he goes, that's how long I've been wearing a kilt. He goes, I was voted as a young adult the third best bagpipe player in the world. He's like, so now you don't think a guy in a dress playing bagpipes gets harassed in America? He's like, so don't tell me I don't know what it's like to be a minority because I do. He goes, you know, I've eaten at restaurants that have the gringo burger. People used to shout faggot, faggot all the time, and they have a name for it in Hawaii. He was talking about it on one of the sports talk shows I looked up, and he's like, you know, that was commonplace, and you knew that, you know, that was coming. Suddenly today, you know, these people that called me names in a kilt would be going to prison or something. And he thinks that all of America just needs to lighten up and realize that sometimes, you know, he thinks that it sounded like to him Hogan was trying to offend one, it was being offensive to one individual, not an entire race, and that he said something extremely stupid, and that he should be called to task for that, but that he didn't deserve to be removed as if he never existed from the website.
no, it deserved to be acknowledged, but maybe not, just completely shun him completely. And that's what this episode is about. I named the episode Backlash Special, and I really wanted to focus on the fact that we live in this digital age with social media, and specifically social justice warriors, these people who get their kicks just sitting all day online, and anytime they find anybody who's done anything bad, whether it be Hulk Hogan, Bill Cosby, some dentist, like, they tear these people apart, and to a level that sometimes is justified, but I feel like most of the time isn't. And so I wanted to talk about a few cases. I was looking just at some of the things that are trending right now on the internet. Like, there's like 5 different cases that just came up today. The first one that I have right here, where is that? This Rutgers University professor sparks outrages after saying U.S. more brutal than ISIS. And it's not her first bizarre rant. And you look through, and she has said some stuff. This lady, I believe that I don't know if she's a Muslim. Her name is Deepa Kumar, and she said, yes, ISIS is brutal, but U.S. is more so. 1.3 million killed in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. Hashtag no war, democracy now. And they want her fired over this. But, like, as a teacher and an educator, like, what she said, she wasn't praising ISIS. She said, she starts off by saying, yes, ISIS is brutal. But
What
what
did she say again?
she said, yes, ISIS is brutal, but U.S. is more so. 1.3 million killed in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. Hashtag no to war, democracy now.
Well, see, I don't. That depends if you define brutality by numbers or by acts. I would say ISIS is, because while America has faults, and we speak of those faults all the time on this show, it is sometimes good to look in the mirror and say, you know what, we've got all kinds of sins here, but we don't have large swaths of people that love to set people on fire, emulate them. We don't have large numbers of people cutting the sexual organs off of little girls because they sat wrong.
Well,
I mean,
and that was actually
at some point, you got to realize that in the course of true brutality, thankfully, America, while definitely not innocent, is not brutal like ISIS. But she
here's,
should be
and
fired over it.
I'm glad you brought up the female mutilation, because another thing that she had been quoted as saying before is that racial slurs against white men, and called here, educators formally encouraged use of racial slurs against white men, and
Cracker.
called an advocate against female genital. She has called, sorry, I'm tripping up my words. She has pretty much said that people who speak out against female genital mutilation are Islamophobic.
Like Hillary Clinton.
But here's the thing. We could debate all these things that she said all day. You can make some points and counterpoints, even about female genital mutilation, because you can make arguments about men being circumcised being very, very similar. But the point is, social justice warriors want this lady fired over these academic points that she's made in the past, which, agree or disagree with them, there's there's some level of validity to the things that she said, and it does spark a conversation. And if anything, that's what I want educators to do. I want people being taught how to think rationally and how to think critically in school. So the fact that social justice warriors, you said something I disagree with, now I want you fired. I mean, do you guys think that that's an acceptable level of social justice, I guess, warrioring on the internet? Do you think they should be calling for this lady to be fired?
I think she should be. I think she should be hunted like the dentist that killed Cecil the Lion. I think we should give out her home address, and yeah.
Well, and I'm glad. I want to kind of transition into that too, because the whole.
Kyle, you froze up a little bit there.
Really have a problem with trophy hunting either. I mean, there's people who will go and hunt a rhino who's a rhino who has to be put down anyways because they're aggressive to other rhinos or whatever situation you want to come up with. They pay $100,000 to go to Africa and hunt it, and that $100,000 goes to preservation, goes to feeding people in the area, and it goes to good things.
Good,
I don't have an issue with that at all. What this guy did was wrong. He went and hunted a protected lion, and he knew what he was doing, and he knew that what he was doing was illegal, but why is it that every single news story that you see has to mention that he's a dentist? What does him being a dentist have to do with what he did? Why would they mention that other than the one reason I can come up with is the people writing these articles want his business attacked. They want his business protested. They want people calling his office. That's the only reason I can come up with. Because if that person worked at Walmart, how many other... What does him being a dentist have to do with the fact that he's a trophy hunter?
I mean, it's a possible explanation for how he affords it, but that gives you reason to
wasn't
now you hate all dentists or what?
Well, exactly. Is what he did worth us attacking the company, his company, ruining his livelihood? I'm going to say no.
Like I said, they're hunting him. They're like, the hunter has become the hunted. And, we all have to cry about this. And, I mean, I love lions. I've been putting up some posts on my page about lions and my feelings on it. I mean, it's like you said. Yeah, he spent a grip of money that went towards, the local economies there get some of that. When they kill the lion, legally, they can take the skin and the head, but the rest of it is given to the local villages, local tribes, right?
Now, what is it? Why did he pick a popular lion to kill? To me, it seems the big uproar here is that he picked a very popular lion instead of picking one, like you said, that was aggressive. Or if they've killed people too, you have to remember the Zimbabweans do allow for the hunting of anything that has attacked a person.
My understanding is that he didn't know the lion. The people that he paid are the ones who picked out that lion.
They lured him out of the park with bait, the guides did, and they're already being punished in Zimbabwe. But, I mean...
was it legal or not legal?
Totally illegal. Very illegal.
Well, his intention was to
the guy that brought him out. Like, why'd they pick that lion is what I'm asking.
Because he was a big, mean fucking lion.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was just a good trophy, and they knew where it was.
He didn't know. He didn't know it was Cecil the lion until afterwards, dude. And there's over 500 lions in the park. Okay. Yes. And Cecil the lion is he's a fucking lion. Yeah. Cecil the lion and his brother. Listen to this. Were named after famous white men. If you didn't know. Cecil was named after Cecil Rhodes, and his brother Leander was named after Leander Starr Jameson, a pioneer in southern Africa and a colleague of Rhodes. Cecil and Leander, the brother lions, had a huge fight in 2009 with an equally famous lion called Mpofu, who was a legend. They bumped into each other in the park and had a fight. Leander was killed by Mpofu, and Mpofu had a badly broken leg and had to be put down by park rangers. So the park rangers had to put Mpofu out of his misery. So then Cecil became the dominant male. Now that Cecil is dead, he had a sidekick, another lion named Jericho, who was the newest dominant male. If Jericho can protect the pride from other lions in the park, and there are reportedly over 500 lions, he will most likely kill Cecil's cubs to establish his own bloodline. I mean, go watch a special about lions. Lions are basically land sharks. Okay.
Yeah.
If you go kill a shark right now off the coast of South Carolina, no one's gonna shed a tear.
No, nobody's gonna shed a tear for Cecil the fucking land or shark. It's just not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
I know.
And and I'm not defending this guy, and that's the thing. That's the tough thing is like I'm not defending this guy, but the pendulum swung so far in the direction of fuck this guy, let's ruin his life. And
Yeah, because
I almost feel like I am defending him because it's like, all right, this guy is like probably an asshole. He's a trophy hunter who doesn't give a fuck about anything else but getting that head on his wall, but it doesn't mean that he should be homeless. That doesn't mean that he shouldn't be. I mean, that doesn't affect his dentistry. He's not going to hunt your teeth.
He's
Well,
not a poacher.
No.
it does when the social what'd you call them, the social justice warriors, you get on their keyboard commandoing and ruin this guy's life. You know what I'm saying, Kyle?
Yeah, sorry. For some reason this computer's just sucking and it keeps jumping in and out. But that's kind of my point is that these social justice warriors, one, they tend to go way too far and blow things out of proportion. Like somebody what was I think I mentioned it earlier on in a different episode where it was that girl, the one who was on the plane and she made the comment about like going to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS, JK, I'm white. And people got so fucking mad about that. And she's asleep on the plane. While she's asleep on the plane, everybody's tearing her apart on Twitter. She wakes up, gets off the plane, and finds out she's fired. And one of the comments on what she said was like, I hope you get raped and die of AIDS, you fucking cunt. It's like, what's worse? Making like, all right, like a bad taste joke about AIDS and black people, or saying, I hope you get raped and die of AIDS. Like, that's obviously
Yeah, 1,000 times worse for sure. You're cutting in and out a little bit there, Kyle. Just trying to pick up the slack when your thing goes out.
But, I mean, what's worse? Her saying, like, a generalized comment, I hope I don't get AIDS in Africa, JK, I'm white, which, like, granted, may be a poor taste joke. Or saying, like, you specifically, you one person who I want to hear this, I hope you get raped, I hope you get AIDS, and I hope you die. Like, that's a million times worse. But that one doesn't go viral because it was said by a social justice warrior who was on the right side of fucking Twitter trends. You know? Like,
Well, I mean, that goes back a couple years to another thing that I covered about Twitter posts and sort of semi-racist jokes like that or could be taken as racist. It depends on how you take it, or you can't hear tone in a tweet. But there was the Olympians that were taken off the Olympic team because of things that they tweeted. I don't know, man. Like
we're going too far with it. Like 20 years ago, you would have never even known that they said those things or felt those ways. Like the comparison that I give is like football players versus like baseball players, because football, baseball used to be the main sport. Now it's football in the United States. Baseball players like Babe Ruth, you think that Babe Ruth wasn't fucking 3 chicks at a time while snorting coke off their assholes? Like, he absolutely was, but there wasn't Twitter, so you didn't know about it. Now, a football player does or says anything, and it's like the end of the fucking world. It's like, look, professional athletes have never been, like, the best people. They've never been, like, representatives of morality. Like, if you think that they have been, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
But and that doesn't mean that when a football player punches his wife in the face that there shouldn't be a little bit of backlash against him. But people take it to this whole new level now.
They even take it to the field. Like, dude, if you're playing a brutal game like football and you're playing the other team that you hate, and you guys are talking a gang of trash and using the N-word or cracker or calling each other, bad.
You think nobody's
like
been
that.
told? You think the word nigga, N-I-G-G-A, has never been said on an NFL football field? You're fucking retarded.
I know, but it's like, they're gonna go crying. Oh, Tom Brady or one of these guys. He said he called me the N-word. Oh, like, dude, you're a football player. Get your head in the game.
Well,
If it's that easy to get you out of your game, how in the world did you end up on the NFL field?
Yeah, right.
I know, but I mean, I wish people had the same thick skin like on Twitter. But these people, like, I mean, Kyle was saying it. Kyle, what'd you call them? Social justice warriors? Is that what you kept saying?
Yeah, SJWs.
SJ Dubs? Man, those people are so nuts. I mean, sometimes I'll be posting something, and I'll be like, man, this is really good. But, I don't know. I'm not an NFL player. I don't get, like, all this attention when I say something on the internet.
Well, no, and that's the other thing that people need to understand is like the whole like viral social justice.
Why don't you try that again, Kyle?
Skipping, aren't I?
Yeah, try saying that again. Okay. Sam.
Yes, I am here. We're going to have to save Kyle's computer. Do not tune out, my friends. Now I guess would be I remember. Well, no, I heard him come back in, but then he's gone. Is he completely gone now?
I don't know. Well, what else you got today, Sam?
Well, we got the news from the science front here, and we might as well get into that since we don't have any theme music for it.
All right, well,
All right,
go
friends.
for it.
News from the science front. Musk donates $10 million to fund AI research for human benefit. I like how I hardly even know who this guy is, but every time I read about him, he's doing something kind of interesting. And this is from Deborah Grace of Pierce Pioneer.
Mm.
Oh, now my computer's doing it. And that's it, our friends. You can tell everybody's have to shut down the media speaks. They don't want to let the media speak. Billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk recently donated $10 million to the Future of Life Institute in order to fund 37 research projects that are dedicated to keeping artificial intelligence beneficial. The project includes $136,000 to study artificial intelligence and weapons so that we can keep them under meaningful human control. Another $1.5 million will be set aside to build AI research, which will be operated by Oxford and Cambridge universities. So, in other words, I talk on the news from the science front, friends, a lot about how I fear a lot of people that are constitutionally minded end up becoming almost what I call neo-Amish. It's almost as if they hate the progress of science because they're worried about all the horrible things that are going to come from it. Somebody here taking a very active role to make sure that that kind of thing does not happen. Musk, I really think he's on the right side of this one. And he's also doing this as well. This is from the LA Times. Space rocket failure cost NASA $110 million. And I wanted to put this in beside it because I thought that I thought it was interesting to note what the private sector and what can actually be done by private people doesn't always need to be downplayed in light of what the big spenders do. Look at this. Oh, here we go again. LA Times. You know what it is, friends? It's actually the LA Times article that slows your computer down with all of their never-ending ads. Taxpayers lost $10 million when SpaceX rocket carrying cargo to the International Space Station disintegrated shortly after liftoff last month, a NASA official said. That's gone. William Geistenmeyer, a NASA associate administrator, said of the cargo lost when the SpaceX rocket failed June 28th above Florida's coast. And I had not heard of this prior to the article. It said that loss is just the beginning. It'll also have to pay Hawthorne-based SpaceX all but 20% of the fee that it was scheduled to receive for the mission. I don't know why they wrote the loophole like that, but okay. The NASA spokesman said the agency does not reveal specific fees that it pays to contractors. It has $1.6 billion contract to fly 12 cargo missions to the space station. Details have suggested an estimated payment of more than $100 million for each successful trip. Friends, we're going to get the price of this down if science is going to continue onward here. Yeah. It says NASA simply paid most of the cargo fee to another launch provider, Orbital Sciences, after the unmanned rocket loaded with the space station provisions exploded just seconds after liftoff. SpaceX, which was funded by billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk, is leading the investigation, into what caused the rocket to break apart, destroying 2 tons of food, equipment, and experiments. My point being, Elon Musk is facing, failures here. 20% of it gets back, not the whole 100%. Again, it's the way the contract is worded. But he's staying with this. He's putting more and more money in, but he hasn't become so space-minded that he's no earthly good, to steal the anti-Christian quip. It's more along the lines of he wants to make sure life is going well here, but he wants the science moving forward so that we can do things in space and bring these prices down. And sometimes even if it's at a 20% loss to him. NASA paid most of the cargo fee for the launch provider, and it says the executive is far better to be investigating in the incident involving cargo. It's excellent to learn on cargo, he said of the hearing. We definitely don't want to another ad. Thank you. We definitely don't want to learn on the crew. So I mean, he's not even really upset. He's not really angry, and he's Elon Musk. What are you going to say? He's bringing a lot of really good things to the science front.
Awesome. Good work on the science front, Sam.
Thank you much.
I saw an interesting science report, and the way that you were talking about Elon Musk bringing the cost down, a new impossible rocket drive could significantly reduce the time it takes us to get places. Impossible rocket drive works and could get to the moon in 4 hours. The British-designed EM drive actually works and would dramatically speed up space travel, scientists have confirmed.